Hey folks, welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. I am your host, Lewis Carlin. MLW Fusion is back. MLW Fusion, the restart, is now on YouTube. I just watched the show and I am so happy MLW Fusion is back. Missed it, they've been gone for 7 months. And this show was actually very, very, very good. It's, again, very, very glad to see MLW back. And we had some really, really good matches on this show. Main event was Jacob Fatu defending the world title against Davey Boy Smith Jr. Pay-per-view match anywhere in the world, and they gave it to us for free, which was just fantastic. Little gift for the MLW fans that have been waiting for 7 long months for MLW to return, so we got that little gift there. And in addition, we got Myron Reed, the extremely talented Myron Reed, defending the MLW Middleweight Championship against Brian Pillman Jr. Wow, that's a double main event. These are two pay-per-view quality matches, and we got them for free on the restart, which is just fantastic. So thank you, MLW, for doing that. Also, Alexander Hammerstone was the MLW Openweight champion, was on the card, was on the show, defending against Jason Dugan. It was a squash match. That match actually opened the show. The only thing is, I kind of wish Brian Pillman Jr. versus Myron Reed opened the show. That would have been a little better than having a squash match. We could have had a squash match in between Jacob Fatu and Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Brian Pillman and Myron Reed. If they put it in between that, I think that would have been a little better. They should have. I think they should have opened with this terrific match, because it was a great match between Myron Reed and Brian Pillman. But nonetheless, very happy MLW is back. And let's talk about Myron Reed versus Brian Pillman Jr. Like I said, it was an excellent match from start to finish. What can you say? You cannot get excited when you see Myron Reed versus Brian Pillman on being advertised for the show. I mean, two incredible talents. I've been a fan of Myron Reed for a very long time. He's just an amazing talent in the ring. Very, very exciting to watch. And he had came to the ring with Jordan Oliver, his Injustice faction member, both in the faction Injustice. And this was just a great match. And good back and forth action. Myron Reed does retain, and I was very happy to see that. I was kind of thinking maybe Brian Pillman Jr. would take the title, but Myron Reed wins cleanly, and check it out. Just a fantastic match between the two. And as I said earlier, Alexander Hammerstone in a squash match against Jason Dugan. The squash was really just to keep Alexander Hammerstone dominant as he pushes towards a title shot against Jacob Fatu. And the main event was Jacob Fatu against Davey Boy Smith Jr. And this was a very good match. I thought the match might be a little longer, but they played up Davey Boy Smith Jr.'s back injury, which made the match shorter than I expected, which is understandable. But Jacob Fatu looked absolutely fantastic. He looked more agile. He looked more quicker. He looks maybe even a little thinner, but he was just fantastic. He is just a great champion to be leading MLW right now. Just an amazing talent. And like I said, this was a pay-per-view quality match anywhere in the world, and then we got it for free, and it was just fantastic. I absolutely love the show, and I'm it's like I never missed a beat, right? It's like never missed a beat. They gone for 7 months. They've been giving us top quality action. They've gone for 7 months, and now they're back, right back where they left us off, giving us top quality action on MLW Fusion. And I got a little excited because they made some announcements, and Leo Rush is coming. So they got new talent coming to MLW. Leo Rush is coming to MLW, and also Calvin Tankman, a star on the indie scene, is coming to MLW. So I kind of like what they do. And what they do at MLW is they introduce new talent, and they make it seem like a big deal. Now, Leo Rush, everybody knows Leo Rush, formerly of WWE, was released, and free agent coming to MLW. I don't know what the contract status is. I don't know if he's signing a long-term deal or not, but he is coming to MLW. And Myron Reed, after his victory over Brian Pillman, immediately called out Lio Rush. And you just got to think, my goodness, Myron Reed versus Lio Rush is going to be an absolute classic. I absolutely can't wait for that. That's going to be such a fantastic match. Such a fantastic match. Just think, Myron Reed versus Lio Rush. Good gosh, that's going to be fantastic. And Calvin Tankman, another star in the indie scene, and I've seen a number of his matches, and he is just really, really good. And I'm looking forward to his MLW debut as well. Again, don't know the contract status, but nonetheless, this is what MLW does. They bring in young indie stars, and they make it seem like a big deal. And it is a big deal, and people get excited, and I'm very excited. I'm excited about the prospect of Lio Rush coming in and immediately going to be in a feud with Myron Reed. That's what they're pushing, and Calvin Tankman coming in as well has me very excited. So lots of good things happening with MLW and the 2020 Opera Cup. The 2020 Opera Cup starts next week as well. The 2020 Opera Cup, it's called the Opera Cup because in the past they've had tournaments in opera houses. A long time ago, New York City had opera house wrestling tournaments, and so they brought it back last year. Davey Boy Smith was the 2019 winner, Opera Cup winner, and this year they're bringing it back, the 2020 Opera Cup, and they announced the brackets. So it's going to be Tom Lawler versus New Japan Pro Wrestling's Rocky Romero, Laredo Kid versus ACH, Low Key versus Davey Boy Smith Jr., and TJP versus Richard Holiday. So it's going to be a really good tournament, and there are a couple of alternates as well. I'm not sure exactly who the alternates are. Didn't write that down, so I do apologize, but there are alternates in that match in case somebody gets injured. But it's going to be a good tournament, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm thinking I'm going to go with Richard Holiday. Richard Holiday is going to win the 2020 Opera Cup. So that's my pick to win the 2020 Opera Cup. So bottom line is ML Fusion is back. It's fantastic. It was a great show. The restart was just a great show. And if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. MLW is back, baby, and I couldn't be happier. And I'm excited about what's coming to MLW. I'm excited about the future for MLW. And one thing I did leave out, I'm sorry, at the end of the match, right at the end, Jacob Fatu defeated Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Jacob Fatu called out Alexander Hammerstone. Hammerstone came out. He took out a couple members of Contra, but then he got taken out himself by the Black Hand of Contra. Got hit with a chair, and they took out Alexander Hammerstone, and thus this is the beginning of the Jacob Fatu Alexander Hammerstone feud for the MLW Heavyweight Championship, and it's going to be a great one. It's going to be a great one. So if you haven't seen this episode, I highly recommend it, and I can't wait for the Opera Cup to start. I'm so pumped that MLW is back. Couldn't be happier, and you should feel exactly the same way that I feel, because MLW does a great job week in and week out. And again, looking forward to the future, what the future holds for MLW. On that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me today. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. This is the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. If you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and please feel free to comment. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.